Hey there guys, my name is Kayla and I have an 8-year-old son with autism. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the signs and signals that my son Shane gives me prior to having a full-on autism meltdown. They are absolutely terrible, and I know many parents are suffering with their children having these meltdowns both at home and in public, and I wanted to share with you everything I learned over the last 8 years with Shane in order to try and prevent some of these meltdowns from happening. Autistic people generally experience the world and everything around them a little bit differently than the average person. For my son Shane, when he's having an autism meltdown, it is generally due to some sort of sensory overload. The environment around him is not agreeing with him for various reasons, and he gets upset and will physically and mentally, verbally, in every way possible try and express that to me. The reasons and the feelings that an autistic person gets prior to having a meltdown is something that somebody without sensory processing disorder or autism could just never understand. From my point of view, when I see my son, I often see it as this rumbling that's happening inside of him, and he has zero control over those emotions and those feelings inside him, but he also has zero control over whatever is bothering him. And that can be an incredibly frustrating situation. Imagine for yourself, you are going to a birthday party for a friend, and this is supposed to be a fun thing. You're excited to go and you're looking forward to it. You arrive at the birthday party and the lights that they're using are incredibly bright and really bother your eyesight. In addition to that, the music is so loud that you feel the need to cover your ears. Or the smell of the food that they're cooking is just really bothering your sense of smell, and you just feel sick to your stomach. But what's worse is that you have zero control over this because A, you're a kid. Maybe you can't even verbally tell your parents that you're not happy and that you don't want to be there. And you feel this rumbling in your stomach and you feel this heat in your body, and that feeling just needs to get out of you. And that is what I feel like a meltdown is for my son. That is why I feel like when he gets really upset and really overwhelmed, he feels the need to just act out and throw himself on the floor and scream, and because he has no control over all these things around him that are constantly affecting his sensory processing disorder. Way before Shane's diagnosis, I remember taking Shane to a Santa Claus parade at like 18 months old, I think, and thinking, wow, this is going to be amazing. He's going to love it. There's going to be lots of colors and textures. There'll be candy. There'll be things to eat. There'll be lots of people around. There'll be parades and colors. No. That was actually, now that I know he's autistic, probably a nightmare for him. All these things happening around him that he doesn't necessarily understand and can't control, and he can't even at that point in his life tell me that he's not enjoying himself or that the music is too loud. I mean, it's literally his nightmare. And that's what I mean when I say that often autistic people process the world around them differently. He wasn't acting out or being bad. He was literally trying to distract himself from everything that was bothering him around him, meaning the Santa Claus and the people screaming and all the colors and the lack of understanding. This meltdown was a way to get himself out of the situation when he wasn't able to. Luckily, 5 years into our autism journey, I finally know the signs that Shane provides to me when he is having a hard time in any given environment or situation. For my son specifically, that looks like him sort of shutting down any form of communication. Like, I'll ask him questions and he just won't be able to answer me because he's trying to process everything around him. He will also pace back and forth a bit depending on where we are. He also does avoidance. So like, for example, if we're in a loud mall and there's like a lot of music coming out of one store, or for some reason extra noise coming from one direction of the store, he will literally just start walking in the opposite direction of that. And I'll be like, where are you going? We're going over here to the, whatever store. And he will just start walking with no explanation or nothing. It's like he's trying to get away from whatever it is bothering him. The other thing that Shane will do is he will sort of like jump up and down and hum. And I know that means that he's having a hard time processing something. And that doesn't always mean it's a meltdown that's about to come, but that is one of the signs. A couple other really common signs that a meltdown could possibly be on its way, or that your child is having a hard time processing the things around them, include hand flapping or hand clapping, self-harm, hitting other people, complete avoidance, like just taking off and running for no reason, plugging their ears. That's very common, and Shane also does that too. What causes a meltdown is very personal and individual to each person on the spectrum. However, keep in mind that most people on the autism spectrum have sensitivities to light, smell, touch, sound. These are things that are in our environment all day, 24/7. These things can be really bothering somebody on the spectrum, and they may not be able to tell you. So if you're in a loud mall with your child and you think this should be fun, maybe it's not for them. Over the years, I've tried many things to help Shane avoid meltdowns as much as possible. It's never a sure bet. I often find myself wondering why he acted the way he did in any given situation. But there are some things that I've done that I know for sure has helped him manage his sensory processing disorder and the way he feels in situations that he can't control. Shane often wears a hooded sweater because I feel like it helps him to block a lot out of what's happening around him. So like 90% of the time, he's got a hoodie on. He often will wear his noise canceling headphones, more so at school. Again, there's a lot of loud kids, and I found that helps him process out some of the noise that he doesn't want to hear. We also bring Fidgets. If he's going to have to wait, I always have something to entertain him. Waiting is very hard for Shane, and I think in that wait period, he's sort of like listening and feeling all the things around him, and he can't process them out, so he needs something to distract him a bit. I often also keep a pair of sunglasses nearby because Shane is really sensitive to light, and sometimes we'll be in a mall and the lights are just really, really bright, and I just let him put his sunglasses on. I don't care if we're inside. Also on long car rides, I always make sure he has his sunglasses because I'll be driving and I can't control how strong the sun is in the back of the car, whereas if he has his hoodie and he has his sunglasses, maybe even a little hat, he can put those things on and sort of block out as much of that light as possible. Finally, one of the most important things I always do for Shane when we are going to be heading out to help him avoid any sort of meltdown is to let him know he is always able to take a break. It doesn't matter if we are going on a car ride, to the mall, birthday party, family dinner, it doesn't matter where. I always let him know, Shaney, if you need a break, you let mommy know. If we're at a party, I just, I'll see him and sometimes he's just not getting along with the other kids. Maybe he's hit somebody, maybe he's just sort of jumping up and down and humming. I just whisper in his ear, do you need a break? We can go outside, take a drink, and come back. 90% of the time when he comes back, he's perfectly fine to have a good time again. It's my hope that this video will help your child to avoid any future meltdowns. If you enjoyed this video, I post every single Wednesday and Sunday, so please hit the subscribe button to find out what's happening next. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.